Hey guys, I'm going to be setting up my Ling 3x3. So it's basically the regular shank shell. There's a place where you can just remove the cap on two sides. So I'm going to remove the centers and lube it the way I do it and set it up the normal way. So I'm just going to unscrew everything. You can skip ahead if you want, because I'm just going to film the entire process of me just setting up my cubes. So it's going to be pretty boring. I'll have places where you in the description to skip ahead if you want. So I'm just unscrewing everything down to the core so that I can lubricate the metal stuff. Okay, almost done. I'm just going to do this in one take, so I don't care if I make any mistakes or something. And I'm not going to care about background noise. So, this is what the core looks like. So it's slightly different. It's more rounded. So, yeah. 50K Traxxas. That's interesting. I'll just... yeah, there's white stuff. And it doesn't appear to have any washers, which is kind of interesting. So I'm just going to put some lube on the bottom lip and the top lip right there. So I'm putting some here and here, if you can see that. So I'm putting some in the bottom lip here and the top lip here. And then I'm going to put some right here. And then put it in magnetic screwdriver. And then I'm going to screw the core into this. And I'm going to leave a space, and then I'm going to put some lubricant right there. And then I just kind of work it in a little. And then I start on the next one. And then I just basically make sure that all the sides are equal so that it's easier when I tension it at the end. It's easier to tension the cube at the end because most of the tensions are pretty much even already, so I don't have to go crazy trying to figure out which sides to loosen or tighten because they're already, I just do the same thing to every single side. So that's almost even. So I just do that for the next 4. So the bottom lip, and then the top lip. And I basically just do this to make sure that there's less friction in the core. So that the cube moves faster and there's just less friction, so the plastic wears down a little less than normal. And then I screw the core onto the screw so that I don't accidentally put the screw in crooked and ruin the core. I'm just going to double check and make sure that all the tensions are as even as I can make it. Okay, 2 more. One more. Okay, so I think the tensions are pretty much even, so I'm just going to assemble the cube solved because of how hard it is to disassemble the cube. It's easier to just assemble it solved because I don't feel like almost breaking the plastic to assemble the cube again. So the way I assemble the cube solved is I just sort out all the white and yellows into their own pile, and then the stuff that doesn't have white or yellow goes into another pile. So in this case, I'm putting all the whites here, all the yellows here, and all the not white or yellow there. So it's easier for me to assemble the cube. It's not it. Okay. And then I just do it by layers. I do the first 2 layers and then the last layer. I'm not the best at assembling cubes. So at this stage, I usually will lubricate the pieces when it's here. So I put some, I put basically the same as a 4x4, I just put some there. So I put that much, if you can see that. I basically just put a small circle and then one on this corner, and then on this edge I'm going to put some here, if you can see that. I'm going to put some here and here because there's going to be friction there. So that's basically how much I lube the pieces. And then I just assemble the rest of the cube. Try not to get lube on all of my fingers. So this is going to be kind of hard, but I tension it pretty loose right now, so it should be a little easier. Yeah. So I'm just going to break it in with a scramble and a solve before I tension it. So right now it's super loose, as you can see. Apparently it's loose enough to pop. So I'm just going to do a solve. This is going to be basically a void cube solve. Yeah, this cube is super smooth. Like, it's incredibly smooth and it's pretty quiet. So I'm going to basically tighten every single side by half a turn, so like 2 1/4 turns. And then test the corner cutting. It's still a little loose, so I'm going to do the same thing again. Tighten by another half a turn on every side, since I know they're going to be pretty much equal before I check every single side. that's a little, well, I think it's good, actually. I'm going to loosen by 1/4 of a turn just to see. Because I want maximum corner cutting. I always tension to maximum corner cutting. So I'm going to see if that's going to make a difference. Yeah, so it can cut 45 degrees with a little force. So I'm going to check every single corner cutting to see, to make sure that the tension is equal. So this side is a lot easier to do, which means it's probably because this side is a little too loose. So this side is perfect. The blue is perfect because I had no problems cutting 45. The orange is a little popping, but it was perfect on 2 sides, so I'm going to check the green. The green is popping a little, and it's locking up on the 45, so I'm going to tighten the green by 1/4 of a turn. It's still popping. So I'm going to check the red to make sure it's not because of the red. And then I'm going to check yellow again. Yellow seems a little loose now, so I'm going to tighten it by 1/4 of a turn. And this is basically how I tension. It takes a while. And it takes some experience to know which side is slightly looser. But at the end you get a pretty good tension cube. That's really, at the end you get a cube that's tensioned pretty well. I think the white is fine. So I'm going to double check all the other faces again. The green is a little loose. So I'll tighten the green by 1/4 of a turn. It really doesn't matter because you never need this much corner cutting, but green seems, I don't know. Like the green is not right, but I'm not sure which direction I'm supposed to be turning it. Because all the other faces are good. I think I should just loosen it. I'm going to try loosening it because it's locking up, and then see if it gets better. Yeah, it's a little better. It's still locking up a little, but I'm going to tighten it a little more just to see. Yeah, the green is basically the face that I can't decide on which direction to turn because